Welcome back, guys, to Phoenix Wright Dual Destinies, where last episode we resolved so much as we reach our end game. As Blackquill has been freed from his shackles, Aura has turned herself in, Athena looks clear for the time being, and we have discovered the identity of who could be the Phantom. Bobby Fulbright stands before us, friendly, jovial and joking as usual. But obviously a dark sociopath lies behind that calm demeanor. But we've asked him to prove his righteousness, as now Blackquill takes over the prosecutor bench. So let's do that. You want me to prove my righteousness? I can certainly do that. Sure thing, let's hear testimony. The embodiment of justice. Ha 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 ha! I am the very embodiment of justice itself! I won't have you make me into a villain with your far-fetched arguments! And this bit about the escape route is only a theory! You don't have any proof! What we do have is proof that Athena Cykes is the culprit! This lighter with a prince on it! So you're saying the suspicions against you are completely false, and that the defendant is the real culprit? That's right! Mr. Lawyer's escape route is totally circumstantial. He doesn't have any proof that I made a big leap onto a ladder. Won't have proof. You are correct about that. However, you don't have any proof for your claim either. Ah! I guess you're right. But you can't define justice with evidence. Who can define it anyway? Justice just is! Objection! Don't make me break out a dictionary on you. Yeah! Please don't throw the book at me! Tell me the Phantom didn't just make me set up a stupid pun for him. Let's just try not to lose focus, alright? But my justice is crystal clear! What's not clear are your eyes! Wake up and smell the justice! Silence! Enough of your rubbish, Fulbright. If you have even an ounce of justice, then you will answer the court's questions and prove it. Prosecutor Blackquill? Prosecutor Blackquill looks torn. Well, Fulbright was his partner after all. Prosecutor Blackquill is right. The truth will be revealed in the cross-examination. The suspicions against Detective Fulbright are, at this point, only suspicions. As is my duty, I will judge the claims against the detective as impartially as I can. Does anyone have any objections? That's fine, Your Honor. Ha ha ha! Now ask away and don't hold back! Well, there don't appear to be any objections. Very well, Mr. Wright. Please begin your cross-examination. And so it begins, but with what? The last statement was the one that basically said about fingerprints, etc. Shall I press, or shall I go straight there to the suspicious one? I am the very embodiment of justice itself, he says. I don't think you can define that. The embodiment of justice. Those are just empty words. Plus, multiple times you faltered on what justice actually is. How can you be the embodiment if you don't know? But they say if you keep saying something, it can eventually become the truth. Isn't that how people make their dreams come true too? By wishing over and over? Alright, let's just move on. Okay, that statement was completely useless. I don't think that's how they make their dreams come true, no. You gotta work for it. I would have you make me into a villain with your far-fetched arguments. Holding! My arguments are hardly far-fetched. There's careful reasoning behind my theory. Yes, well, apparently there's reasoning behind even a tofu burger. But what we have against Miss Cykes, though, is not just reasoning, but solid evidence. And it's called the lighter, with Miss Cykes' fingerprints on it in the victim's blood. Yes, that's true. But wait, Detective Fulbright was the one who brought that evidence to the trial. If you harbor any suspicions, I suggest you ask Fulbright, or I don't know. Especially about that lighter. Ah! He's right. But what exactly should I ask about? The number of prints or the position of the prints? Right, well, I guess we can do both. Though I do question how the position of the prints could matter at this point. in regards to the lighter, if it was just holding it when it was closed as well, you can hold it with either hand. When I was thinking about if the position of the prints were based on the use of the lighter. There's only 2 prints to begin with, so maybe it's the number. The spacing's quite radically massive on them anyway. Was there something being held with it too? So how many prints were found exactly? 3. The thumb, the index finger, and the middle finger of the right hand. I can only see 2. Your Honor, that is an important statement. Could we please have it added to my testimony? You got it. He beat me to it. Ha ha ha! Be it investigating or testifying, speed is the key. So we got a new statement off of that. 3 prints were on the lighter, the thumb, index, and the middle fingers of a right hand. Right, I might not be able to see hands in terms of positioning of that, but we looked at that based on Aura's statement here. The pair held a lighter with an earth emblem on it in their left hand and a knife in their right. So this is not conclusive with Aura's statement. That was easy enough.
Objection!
You say the prints were from a right hand, is that correct? That's right! Fairly clear prints, which completely rules... Well, it makes the witness sound wrong. But that just doesn't add up. No, it doesn't. Huh? What doesn't add up? According to Miss Blackquill, who saw the culprit herself, this person held the lighter in their left hand. Oh! So here's the dilemma before us. Why are the prints on the lighter from a right hand instead of a left? Yeah!
You're right. It doesn't make sense, does it?
Your Honor, this lighter can hardly be called incriminating evidence. The witness's claims don't even hold water.
Detective Fulbright, I hope you have a good explanation for this.
I just can't understand it. They're definitely right-hand prints. But then, why are they inconsistent with Miss Blackwell's statement? I've got it!
Oh, what have you got, Detective?
The mirror! The witness must have seen a reflection of the culprit in the mirror. There's a mirror in the room, was there?
Go on.
Miss Blackquill was looking in through the window of boarding lounge 1, wasn't she? I believe so. If you mean the little window in the back and to the right of the room. That's right! And across the room on the opposite wall. Was there? Oh yeah! Oh no! It's a large mirror! Huh. I do remember seeing it. Ah! So are you saying... But the reflection angle would be kind of off, wouldn't it? Yes, the culprit Miss Blackquill saw must have been a reflection of that person in the mirror. But no, that's not right.
I see. In that case, right and left would appear reversed, wouldn't they?
Ha 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 ha! Now do you see? That's the logic of pure justice!
Objection!
But your argument is only conjecture. You didn't have any proof that what Miss Blackquill saw was a reflection.
Silence.
Right, Dono. You'd sooner nick yourself than him like that. Put some more muscle into it. Huh? Ha 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 ha! That's right! Besides, the lighter couldn't have been in the left hand. And why not? Miss Blackquill said she saw an earth emblem on the lighter, didn't she? That emblem is only on one side of the lighter. You're right. There's no emblem on the other side. Exactly! As blank and smooth as a judge's fine sculpt. If the culprit had held the lighter in their left hand, they would have covered the emblem. Uh-oh. What's more, this is the kind of lighter you flick open with your thumb before lighting. So if the culprit had held it in their left hand with the emblem out and visible, they wouldn't have been able to open it, let alone light it. But if they had held it in their right hand, they could easily open it and light it. This all means that the culprit was definitely holding the lighter in their right hand. No! Come back, my beautiful contradiction!
It appears you planted a flower that bears no fruit.
See how it withers before my flower of justice. He's tough. He's managed to discredit almost everything I've proven up this point. In justice we trust. Now do you see? I'm not this phantom you've been talking about. I mean, are you sure there really is a spy? I bet they're just a figment of your imagination. Oh, it's so sad, so very sad. But I'm afraid Miss Cykes is the culprit. I thought you didn't want Miss Cykes to be the culprit originally. That's going off the other way. Detective Fulbright, I believe you said that the emblem is only on one side of the lighter. Oh yeah, we haven't seen the other side. Are you sure about that? Of course I'm sure. Why don't you take a look for yourself and see? Do you see an Earth emblem on both sides of the lighter? What? Okay. I knew it. You're lying, detective. Pardon me? You mean... Yes, my bracelet reacted to his statement about the emblem. He's definitely hiding something big. And I think if we use my talent, we might be able to figure it out.
Justice Dono, are you to use that cheat of yours again?
It's not cheating, Prosecutor Blackquill.
Very well. Whether I like it or not, I suppose we should use whatever works right now. Go on then.
We have Prosecutor Blackwill's reluctant blessing, apparently. Okay, Apollo, you're up. Here goes then. Detective Fulbright, could you repeat that last statement one more time? What in the world are you up to? Alright, fine. I'll say it as many times as you like. Listen carefully. The Earth emblem is only on the side you can see when held in the right hand. I've got to press perceive now, have I? So what are we looking at here? It's weird seeing your face so up close. I imagine we should focus on the hands, based on the fact that the conversation is about hands, and the fact that the possible phantom here is going to have a wound somewhere. And I'm assuming... Oh, it's nothing to do with a wound. Okay, we found it. It's on the Earth emblem part of this here. There's a tick on the thumb. But this makes sense considering the line of testimony itself is about hands. I wonder if these lips are actually synced to Japanese dialogue. Nah, probably not. I've got to wait for it again now. Right, reperceive. We got ya. So tell us more now that we've found your nervous tick. So surprised. I guess we did just shout gotcha randomly. Detective Fulbright, you might not be aware of it yourself, but whenever you say the phrase the Earth emblem, your left thumb moves. In fact, it appears as though you're running it along the edge of your holster. Mr. Lawyer, I don't have the foggiest notion what you're talking about. Be that as it may, I know it has something to do with the lighter. Let me examine it. But why? You're not making any sense. You can't just... Why can't someone else examine it? Why are you protecting this?
Be still and do as you're told, Fulbright.
If you have nothing to hide, you shouldn't mind them having a look-see, should you? What? Not you too, Prosecutor Blackquill!
I'm not sure what this is all about, but if Prosecutor Blackquill insists, it must be something important. I will allow the defense to examine the lighter.
Good. Now maybe we'll learn something new. Hope so. Now let's check every inch of this thing. Okay. Well, most importantly, we just want to rotate it, don't we? Well, that's bloody palm prints. Only one Earth emblem. Let's start examining them. So this is the Earth emblem Detective Fulbright was talking about. See anything noteworthy? Huh. Hey, look at this! The emblem is actually some kind of button. Is it? I was gonna say, the moon looked like a tennis ball. Huh? Huh? What? Huh? What? Okay. Wow, it transformed into something. A handle? A trigger? Is this what I think it is? There's no question, it seems. What you have there is a gun. A what? A gun. So that's it. Your Honor, please recall this morning's trial when Director Cosmos was on the stand. The bullet that hit the oxygen tank was extremely small, maybe a 10 caliber. This little compact gun probably takes bullets of that caliber. It looks like this is the gun that was fired at the scene.
I'm flabbergasted. The lighter was a gun.
And now it looks like it's held in the right hand because it would be facing towards that way. If you held the gun in your right hand, the Earth emblem itself points out to the left towards the window. With the way that Aura saw someone facing. Was the light the gunshot itself? That's the confusing part. Or maybe it's a light, I don't know. We'll find out. So when Detective Fulbright would touch his holster, that's right, whenever he mentioned the Earth emblem, he must have subconsciously thought about the secret behind the lighter. In other words, he knew it was a gun from the very beginning. A lighter that transforms into a gun seems like a spy gadget to me. It's not the kind of thing any ordinary person can get their hands on. In fact, I'd say it's strictly in the domain of elite spies. Detective Fulbright, you will explain yourself. Ha 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 ha! There's nothing for me to explain! I didn't know the lighter could transform! I mean, it was found in the Space Museum, and then I built it straight in. I didn't even have time to check it out.
Objection!
Whenever you mentioned the Earth emblem, you touched your holster. You subconsciously did that because you knew it was a gun. Accuse me all you want, but where is your proof? Do you have any evidence that I knew the lighter was a gun? Not exactly. And whose prints are on it? Miss Cykes' prints. It proves that she's the culprit who fired the gun to the scene. Ah.
It would appear that the detective is right.
Are you guys really trying to prove your client innocent or what? Well, I have a reason here that I would like find out. I've got something I would personally like to point out. Although it pains me to do this now that we are where we are, I have to make the following assertions coming from the prosecution's side. The person who fired the gun at Director Cosmos in the lounge after the incident. And the person Miss Blackquill saw holding the lighter. And the person who murdered Mr. Terran. And the person who bombed the Space Center. Are all the defendant, Athena Cykes. The prints on the lighter are decisive proof. But who brought us that proof? No! Ha ha ha! Now do you see? A man on the side of justice couldn't possibly be the culprit. And I think this about sums up Miss Cykes' part in the whole affair.
The evidence certainly does seem to point to the defendant's guilt. Do you have anything to say, Prosecutor Blackquill?
Evidence is everything in court. Therefore, Fulbright's claims stand firm. But... Calm down, Apollo. He's just saying that because he has to as the prosecutor. Mr. Lawyer, our job is to pursue criminals in the name of justice. You shouldn't cast suspicion on people based on something as dubious as a habit. In fact, you have a bad habit of showing up in court with an awful case of bedhead.
Objection!
Says the man who wears sunglasses at night. If it's the proof you want, it's proof you'll get. I'll prove that this lighter is not Miss Cykes, but yours. Sounds like you've hit on something, Apollo. It's just, if the prints on the lighter are the basis for accusing Athena, I think we should reconsider the credibility of the evidence itself. You mean you think this lighter might be forged evidence? That's right. It could all be part of Fulbright's bigger plot. Did he do anything out of the ordinary while I was off on my own? I can definitely think of a few things. It is indeed! Have a look at this!
What's this? A lighter?
Detective, we'd like to run a comparison on some prints we found in the boarding lounge. Ah, yes! I just happen to have compiled the print data of everyone related to this case. I can always make another copy for myself, so it's all yours. Consider it a gift. If we assume he's been laying a big trap for us all along, there's gotta be something off about this piece of evidence. What's wrong with the lighter as a piece of evidence? Right, how the prints were left on it, the owner of the prints, or where the prints are on it. Now, you've got to... Were Athena's hands covered in blood that night if we assume she is innocent? We assume. We know she's innocent. Then... the owner of the prints is the real question. Not where the prints are on it. If someone shot the gun after murdering someone, or held it in that fashion, then of course they're going to have bloody prints on it. So yes, if it was in its gun form, and we definitely know it was shot that time. How the prints were left, and it was definitely shot after Clay Terran was murdered. How the prints were left on it, I mean, it makes sense. Killer has someone coming in on him, shoots at person, flees, after having stabbed Clay Terran to death, who seemingly was unconscious as well, or something along those lines. So it's only got to be the owner of the prints here, as a possible thing. Which, to be honest, falsified evidence, falsified prints, or more to the point, possibly a falsified report, because he may have not even got it checked. These are things that could come in heaven. All he has to do is just walk in and say, "These are Athena Cykes' prints, so says the prosecution." That's all he has to do. Are they really Athena's fingerprints? They definitely matched her print data, did they? Or was that mixed and matched? But what about the data itself? Detective Fulbright, you were the one who provided us with the lighter and print data. Isn't that correct? Yes. What about it? You say Miss Sykes' prints match the print data. But I have to wonder, was the data you used official?
Mr. Wright, are you suggesting that the evidence might have been fabricated?
I guess there's only one way to find out. Let's re-examine the prints. Using the official, sanctioned print data of the people involved in this case.
What? You dare insult the epitome of justice and integrity? There's no need for such antics. Silence.
Your Honor, I lend my voice to the defense's request. You must allow the test to be rerun.
Very well then. Bailiff? It appears that the official data is here.
And the results?
It's just the defense claims. This proves that the prints on the lighter do not belong to the defendant.
Yes!
The fingerprints actually belong to the victim, Mr. Clay Terran.
Okay. So, was there a fight back? This is interesting. This is very interesting. There were Clay's fingerprints on the lighter. Ah, I see. Come to think of it. Wasn't it you, Fulbright, who collected the victim's prints? Oh god, he did, yeah. I personally removed his gloves during the investigation. We had to get his fingerprints to confirm his identity after all. To reuse them. When you took the deceased's fingerprints, you could have easily planted his prints on the lighter with his blood. After which you wiped the blood off of his hand. By your own admission, you were also the one who compiled the phony print data. All to put the blame on Miss Sykes. This ploy must have been to distract us from the Phantom who was behind everything. You were out to create the impression that the Phantom wasn't the true culprit.
So does this mean Detective Fulbright really is the Phantom?
Remember the killer's escape route? No ordinary person would have been fearless enough to attempt it. Nobody but the Phantom, the man with no emotions, could have done it. Ah! Detective Fulbright, you were the only one who could have used that escape route. Fulbright, are you really the Phantom? Answer me, or so help me, I will slash you to tiny slivers where you stand. Ah! Alright, I'll talk. I confess. I'm not the Phantom.
Silence.
It's all over. Now be a man and admit it already. But I'm not a spy! I'm an undercover investigator! I've actually been after the Phantom myself!
An undercover investigator? That sounds less than wholesome to me.
A person who hides his identity and secretly investigates in order to uncover information. And that's what you really are, Fulbright. That's right! I was working to track down the Phantom, but sadly, even though I was supposed to catch the spy ended up catching me. Question. Who put someone in undercover as a policeman on all these high-profile cases? What? That's not what I'd define as undercover. Unless you're looking for corruption within the cops. Then, like, as anti-corruption forces or something might go undercover within the police force itself. But as a policeman. But this sounds stupid. You're trying to catch a spy. What? What? He took my family hostage and forced me to cooperate with him. What?
What?
Indeed. What the hell? You're telling us this now? But if what you say is true, then who was the mystery person Miss Blackquill and Mr. Starbuck saw? It was the Phantom, I tell you. All I did was help him by having that emergency ladder lowered for him.
Objection!
I don't believe you. And how do you explain the fabricated lighter? Well, that was also one of the Phantom's demands. Being the detective in charge of the case, it was easy for me to fabricate evidence. Pinning the crime on Athena Cykes was just another one of the Phantom's orders. Did you expect me to buy that? Fulbright, what was the Phantom's ultimate objective? I was told it was to sabotage the rocket launch. Someone who didn't want the launch to happen must have given him the order. Actually, I have to apologize to you too. The Phantom told me to get close to you. He ordered me to get back that psych profile you have on him. So, he sent a buzzard of his own to tell me this past year, did he? I haven't been a champion of justice. I've just been a pawn of evil. A pawn of the Phantom who stole the moon rock and killed Dr. Cykes 7 years ago. Enough, Fulbright. Just tell us the Phantom's true identity. I don't know. He was very careful to hide it. He has top secret information for all the kinds of corporations and countries. So there's a number of organizations that want him dead. If people believed I was the Phantom, I could be killed on the spot. Why, I bet even now! There are assassins lurking nearby. This case is about the Phantom after all. The ceiling blown off. I suppose you are vulnerable to a sniper shot in this courtroom. Just 2 seconds ago, Fulbright was treating Athena like a criminal. Does he really think he's gonna lie his way out of it now? But on the surface, everything does seem to make sense. This could be bad, Mr. Wright, but we can't find a flaw in his logic. He's right. After we've come all this way, we can't let Fulbright wriggle free now. There, I finally told the truth. Now I hope you see how foolish it was to think I was the Phantom. Really? Really, Fulbright? I feel like thou doth protest too much. But what more is going to happen in this case for us to even be able to get to that point? I mean, a hostage situation of family members isn't so implausible. I'd have thought we'd have heard about them some point during the game, though. I mean, that's a good reason to cooperate with an international super spy, I think. But maybe we'll find out more. Next episode. Where is this going? Do we really have the Phantom in front of us? The guy that seems to be manipulating things and evidence and telling people what to do all along? Or was he really just a pawn of evil? Or was he the true factor of injustice in this courtroom? We'll find out next time.
I'll see you then. Bye-bye.